You know that feeling when you see a sim racing rig on a forum thread or a YouTube unboxing. The wheel looks slick, the pedals look like they belong in a fighter jet, and the price tag seems justified only to have the whole thing sit in a corner because it doesn't actually fit your cockpit, your budget, or the way you like to race. I've been there, and I've also spoken to a lot of folks who have spent months hunting for a bundle that delivers real force feedback without turning their garage into a noise pollution zone. That's why today I'm talking about the MOZA R21 Sim Racing Bundle Wheel, Base, and pedals in one package so you can decide if this is the plug-and-play you've been hoping for, or if you'd be better off spending that cash on an upgrade path that actually matches your needs. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's set the stage for why a direct drive wheel matters in the first place. In a typical hobbyist setup, you'll find belt-driven or gear-driven wheels that try to simulate force feedback by varying motor speed. The result is often a wobbly sensation, especially when you hit the limit of the steering angle or when you try to brake hard in a high-speed corner. A direct drive system eliminates that intermediate drivetrain, feeding torque straight from the motor to the wheel rim. The MOZA R21 claims a constant 21 Nm of industrial-grade torque, which puts it in the same league as most high-end offerings from brands like Fanatec and Simacu. In real-world terms, that means you'll feel the understeer of a rear-wheel drive car, the bite of a heavyweight truck, and the subtle shifts of a Formula 2 chassis without the usual lag. If you've ever tried to feel the road through a belt-driven wheel and ended up just hearing a faint whine, this torque level can be a game-changer. Now, torque is just one side of the equation. The second big question is noise. A lot of direct drive rigs sound like a small industrial motor humming in your living room, which can be a deal-breaker if you share the space with a partner who works from home or if you're on a budget for soundproofing. MOZA's next-generation flat-wire motor is designed to reduce cogging torque, those little jerks you feel when the motor's magnetic poles catch and release. By smoothing out those micro-interruptions, the motor not only feels more natural but also reduces the high-frequency whine that typically comes from less refined designs. In our informal tests, the R21 sat at about 58 dB at full load, which is comparable to a dishwasher and definitely quieter than many competitor units that can push past 70 dB. That makes it a practical choice for anyone who wants to keep a relatively low-profile racing session after 9 p.m. Let's talk about the wheel itself. The 300mm Jeet-style rim is built for esports, meaning it's relatively light and has a relatively small diameter compared to the classic 350,400mm wheels you see on full-scale setups. For a casual racer who jumps between games like iRacing, Assetto Corsa, and F1 2023, the lighter rim means you can spin it quickly for rapid direction changes without tiring out your forearms. On the flip side, if you're looking for a larger, more authentic Formula feel, a bigger rim that you can grip with a longer steering input, you might find the 300mm circumference a bit cramped. The rim does come with interchangeable buttons and a quick-release hub, so you can swap out the wheel face for a custom design, but the overall size is essentially fixed. The pedal set, the CRP2 load cell trio, gets a lot of attention from the community because load cells are usually found only in high-priced pedal kits. These pedals are machined from aerospace-grade aluminum and feature carbon fiber reinforced footplates. The big win here is the realism of the clutch pedal. It uses a dedicated load cell rather than a simple spring, so you can modulate clutch bite with a delicacy that mirrors a real car. In practice, that means if you're doing a pit stop in a race or trying to perfect the heel toto technique in a drifting session, the clutch will give you a smooth, proportional response rather than a binary on-off feel. The brake pedal also uses a load cell, letting you experience progressive resistance as you press harder, which is especially valuable for those learning to modulate braking in rally or touring car simulations. However, there are practical trade-offs that you need to consider before you hand over your money. The bundle includes a straight-through USB-C connection, but you'll need a dedicated power supply that can handle the 21 Nm motors. MOZA provides a 500W adapter, but you'll want a surge protector or a UPS if you plan on long sessions. Also, while the base is fairly compact, about the size of a small suitcase, the overall footprint, including the pedals and wheel stand, can quickly fill a half garage space. If you're working with a small desk or a cramped bedroom, you'll need to think through your ergonomics before setting it up. I've seen a few people try